I didn't believe the machine at first. That's important. Because if I had taken it seriously from the beginning, maybe I wouldn't be sitting here now, staring at my hands, trying to convince myself they're clean. It started 3 weeks after my brother died. People said it was an accident. That's the word they used. Accident. Clean. Simple. Something you can wrap in a report and file away. But accidents don't leave you with questions that rot inside your head. And they definitely don't leave behind locked rooms. I was the one who found him. The police let me in after they cleared the place. They said I could take anything personal. Closure, one of them called it, like grief was something you could pack into a cardboard box. His apartment smelled wrong. Not like death, something else. Burned plastic. Ozone. Like a storm had passed through the walls and forgotten to leave. That's when I saw it. A metal case sitting on his desk. Not big. About the size of a briefcase. Matte black, no markings. No brand. No screws. Just smooth edges like it had been poured into shape instead of built. It was humming. Not loudly. Just enough that you could feel it more than hear it. Like a vibration sitting behind your teeth. I shouldn't have touched it. But I did. The moment my fingers brushed the surface, the humming stopped. Just like that. Dead silence. And then. Click. The case opened on its own. Inside was something that didn't belong in my brother's apartment, or anywhere, really. A small screen, dark at first, surrounded by a mess of old-looking components, wires, chips, things that looked decades out of date. And yet, it powered on. The screen flickered. Static. Then text. White letters on black. No logo. No startup screen. Just a single line. Ask. I remember laughing. Actually laughing. Okay, I said out loud, because that's what you do when something is too strange to process. You joke. You pretend it's normal. Ask what? The screen didn't change. I don't know why I played along. Maybe it was the silence in that apartment. Maybe it was the way the air still smelled like something had burned from the inside out. Or maybe, part of me already knew. I looked around, half expecting someone to jump out and tell me it was a prank. Nothing. Just me. And my brother's empty apartment. So I asked the first thing that came to mind. Is this thing broken? For a second, nothing happened. Then the screen flickered. A soft buzz filled the room. The lights dimmed, not off, just slightly, like the building itself had taken a breath. And then the answer appeared. No, 98%. I stared at it. Okay, I muttered. That's weird. Coincidence, I told myself. Has to be. So I tried again. Will the power go out tonight? The buzzing came back. Louder this time. The overhead light flickered once. Then. Yes, 92%. I frowned. That doesn't even. The lights cut out. Total darkness swallowed the room. No warning. No flicker. Just gone. And in that silence, I heard something else. Not the machine. Not the building. Breathing. Right behind me. I froze. The kind of freeze where your body stops listening to you, like it's waiting for confirmation that you're already dead. The breathing was slow. Uneven. Too close. Right behind my ear. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. Instead, I did the only thing my brain would let me do, I looked at the screen. Still glowing. Still alive. The words hadn't changed. Yes, 92%. My throat tightened. Hello. I managed, barely louder than a whisper. The breathing stopped. Just like that. Silence flooded the room again, thick and heavy. The kind that presses against your eardrums. I turned. Slowly. Nothing. No one behind me. No shadow slipping away. No open window. No place for anyone to hide. Just the empty apartment. I let out a shaky breath and laughed under it, the sound brittle. Okay, you're losing it. Grief. Stress. That's what this was that it had to be. But the machine was still on. Waiting. I stepped closer to it, my hands unsteady now. All right, I said, forcing calm into my voice. Let's try something real. Something testable. Something immediate. I swallowed. Is there someone else in this apartment right now? The response was instant this time. The buzz hit harder, sharp enough to make my teeth ache. The screen flickered violently, lines of static crawling across it like something trying to break through. For a moment, I thought it wouldn't answer. Then. Yes, 100%. Every muscle in my body locked. No, I whispered. No, that's not. The hallway door creaked. Not loud. Just enough. A slow, deliberate shift of wood against its frame. I stared at it. I knew that door. I had walked past it 100 times growing up. It never made that sound. Never. Another creak. Like someone leaning their weight against it from the other side. My voice came out thin. This isn't funny. No answer. Just the machine. Just that glowing, impossible certainty. 100%. I took a step back. Then another. My brain scrambled for logic. Someone broke in. A squatter. A prank. Anything that made more sense then. The handle turned. A soft click. The door opened an inch. Darkness pooled in the gap. Thicker than the rest of the apartment. Wrong somehow, like it wasn't just the absence of light but something heavier. Watching. I didn't wait. I grabbed the machine, didn't even think about it, and bolted for the front door. The moment I crossed the threshold, the hallway lights outside flickered back on. Normal. Everything normal. I slammed the door behind me and stood there, gasping, heart pounding so hard it hurt. No footsteps followed. No door opening behind me. Nothing. Just silence. And the machine, still in my hands. Still humming again. Soft. Satisfied. I looked down at the screen. The text had changed. New line. Waiting. Like it knew I'd come back. Like it knew I wasn't done. My hands trembled as I read it. Ask again. I should have left it there. I should have walked away, called the police, told them everything, even if it made me sound insane. But I didn't. Because one thought had already taken root. If it could answer questions like that. Then maybe. Just maybe. It knew what really happened to my brother. I swallowed hard. And despite everything. I asked. Did my brother die by accident? The machine buzzed. Longer this time. Hungrier. The lights above me flickered once more. And then it answered. No, 99%. I didn't breathe. I don't mean that figuratively, I actually forgot how. My chest locked up as I stared at the screen, waiting for it to change. For the numbers to glitch. For the answer to correct itself. It didn't. No, 99%. Not an accident. Not even close. My hands tightened around the case. Then what happened? I whispered. The machine didn't respond. Of course it didn't. I hadn't asked it properly. Yes or no. That was the rule. I licked my dry lips, my mind racing ahead of me now, tripping over possibilities I didn't want to consider. Was he killed? The buzz came instantly this time. Stronger. The hallway lights flickered violently, once, twice, before settling into a dim, sickly glow. The answer appeared. Yes, 97%. Something cold slid down my spine. Killed. The word didn't feel real. Not attached to him. Not to my brother, the guy who used to fall asleep on the couch with the TV still on, who forgot birthdays, who never locked his doors. Okay, I breathed, trying to steady myself. Okay, think. If he was killed. Then someone did it. Someone real. Someone human. Right? I forced the next question out before I could stop myself. Was the person who killed him still in the apartment when I got there? The machine hesitated. For the first time, it hesitated. The screen flickered, the white text distorting as if something underneath it was pushing back. The hum deepened into something almost mechanical, strained. Then. Yes, 81%. My stomach dropped. 81%. Not certain. But close enough. Images flashed in my mind, the open space behind me, the breathing, the door. That's not possible, I said quickly, shaking my head like I could physically dislodge the thought. The police checked everything. There was no one there. The machine didn't care. It never cared. I felt a pressure building in my chest again. Not panic, something sharper. A need to know. To make sense of it. Was it someone I know? The buzz hit harder than before. The lights above me flickered again, longer this time, dipping toward darkness before crawling back. The screen glitched, letters stretching, distorting. Then locking into place. Yes, 95%. My fingers went numb. Someone I know. No, I muttered. No, that doesn't. But it did. It fit too well. The locked room. No signs of forced entry. No struggle reported. Someone he would let in. Someone he trusted. My mind started pulling faces from memory, one after another, like it was trying to solve a puzzle it didn't want to complete. Friends. Neighbors. Me. I stiffened. No. That was stupid. I hadn't been there. I would remember. Wouldn't I? My thoughts stuttered. Something felt off. Not a memory. Not quite. More like the absence of one. Like a skipped frame in a video you didn't realize was missing until you tried to rewind. I swallowed hard. Was I there before the police arrived? The question slipped out before I could stop it. The machine reacted instantly. Violently. The hum surged into a sharp, painful whine. The lights in the hallway went out completely this time, plunging everything into darkness except for the screen's glow. The text didn't appear right away. Instead, symbols flickered across the display, broken characters, overlapping lines, like it was struggling to form an answer. Or refusing to. Come on, I whispered. Answer it. The screen went black. For one long, suffocating second. Then. Yes, 100%. My heart slammed against my ribs. No, I said immediately. That's wrong. But even as I said it, something shifted in my head. A sound. A memory trying to surface. A door unlocking. A voice. Mine. I staggered back a step. That's not possible, I repeated, weaker this time. The machine hummed softly in my hands. Almost, patiently. Like it was waiting for me to catch up. I shook my head, breathing uneven. Okay. Fine. Fine. Let's end this. One last question. Something simple. Something final. My throat tightened as I forced the words out. Did I see who killed my brother? The machine didn't hesitate. Didn't flicker. Didn't struggle. It answered immediately. Yes, 100%. The hallway felt smaller. Too small. Like the walls had moved closer without me noticing. I don't remember, I whispered. The words sounded wrong even as I said them. Because deep down, something in me did. And it was starting to wake up. I don't remember. I said it again, louder this time. Like saying it with more force would make it true. But the machine didn't react. It didn't argue. It didn't need to. Because now the problem wasn't the answer. It was me. I leaned against the wall, trying to steady myself as something ugly started crawling up from the back of my mind. Not a clear memory, nothing that clean. Fragments. A sound. Metal scraping. A voice, sharp, angry. Then gone. Like something slamming a door in my head. No, I muttered, pressing my fingers against my temples. No, I would remember that. You don't just forget something like that. You don't forget seeing your brother die. Unless. My eyes dropped to the machine. Unless something made you forget. My stomach twisted. Did something happen to my memory? The response came slower this time. Not struggling, just deliberate. The hum deepened, vibrating through the case and into my hands. The air around me felt heavier, like pressure building before a storm. Then the screen flickered. Yes, 93%. I felt the floor shift under me. Not physically. Just enough to make me question my balance. Okay, I whispered. Okay, that's not possible either. But it was starting to feel possible. Too possible. I tried to think back to that night, really think. Not the version I had told myself. Not the clean, simple one the police gave me. The real one. I saw myself arriving. The door. The smell, that same burnt, electric smell that filled the apartment earlier. Then. Nothing. A blank space. A gap. And then I was inside. Standing there. Looking at. I clenched my eyes shut. Why can't I remember? I asked, voice shaking now. The machine answered without hesitation. You chose not to, 88%. The words hit harder than anything before. I stared at them, my mind struggling to process what they even meant. I chose. That didn't make sense. Why would I choose that? Why would anyone choose to forget something like that? Unless remembering it was worse. My breath came faster. Did I do something? The hum spiked sharply, painfully. The screen glitched, letters smearing across the display before snapping back. For a moment, I thought it wouldn't answer. Then it did. Yes, 96%. My chest tightened. What did I do? I demanded. No response. I swallowed hard, forcing myself back into the rules. Yes or no? Keep it simple. Keep it controlled. Even though nothing about this felt controlled anymore. Did I try to stop it? The machine buzzed. Yes, 72%. 72. Not certain. Not clean. Not enough. My hands started shaking. That's not good enough, I whispered. That's not. The lights flickered again. But this time, they didn't come back right away. Darkness stretched out around me, swallowing the hallway, leaving only the glow of the screen. And in that darkness, I heard it again. Breathing. Closer than before. Right behind me. Slow. Wet. Like something struggling to pull air into damaged lungs. My body locked up. No, I whispered. No, no, no. The machine flickered. New text appeared. Not an answer. A warning. Don't turn around. My heart slammed in my chest. The breathing got louder. Closer. Right at the back of my neck. Warm. Rotting. Is that him? I whispered. The machine responded instantly. Yes, 91%. Something brushed lightly against my shoulder. I flinched, a gasp tearing out of me. Every instinct screamed at me to turn around. To look. To face whatever was standing there. But the screen still glowed in front of me. Still showing that message. Don't turn around. My hands trembled. Why not? I asked, barely able to get the words out. The machine hesitated. For just a second. Then. You won't forget again, 100%. The breathing stopped. Completely. The silence that followed was worse. Because now. I knew it was waiting. For me to look. I stood there, completely still. Not because I wanted to. Because I couldn't move. My entire body had locked into place, like something deep inside me understood what my brain was still trying to deny. If I turned around, something would change. Something permanent. The machine's screen burned in my vision. You won't forget again, 100%. Behind me. Nothing. No breathing. No movement. Just silence. But it wasn't empty. It felt occupied. Like a room where someone is standing perfectly still, watching you, waiting for you to acknowledge them. My throat felt tight. Is he still there? I whispered. The machine answered instantly. Yes, 100%. Of course he was. Of course. My grip tightened around the case. My fingers were numb now, barely responding, but I held on like it was the only solid thing left in the world. Is he alive? The hum that followed was different. Lower. Heavier. The lights above flickered weakly, like they were struggling to stay on. Then the answer came. No, 100%. My stomach dropped. Dead. Still standing behind me. Still breathing, no, not breathing. Imitating it. Something in my chest cracked. I didn't kill him, I said quickly, the words spilling out before I could stop them. I didn't. I would remember that. The machine didn't respond. Because I hadn't asked. Because it didn't care what I said. Only what I asked. I swallowed hard. Did I kill my brother? The silence stretched. Longer than any question before. The machine didn't buzz right away. Didn't flicker. For a moment, I thought. Maybe it wouldn't answer. Maybe this was where it stopped. Then. The hum exploded into life. Violent. Painful. The screen warped, text stretching, collapsing in on itself as if the answer couldn't settle into a single shape. The hallway lights shattered into rapid flickers, on, off, too fast to follow. And then. It stabilized. Yes, 51%. I felt something inside me drop away. 51. Barely over half. Not certain. Not clean. But enough. Enough to destroy everything. No, I whispered. No, that's not. Behind me. A sound. A wet shift. Like weight adjusting. Like something stepping closer. I sucked in a sharp breath. Was it an accident? I asked quickly, my voice breaking. The machine answered faster this time. Yes, 49%. 49. The other half. My legs felt weak. 51% I killed him. 49% it was an accident. Both true. At the same time. That doesn't make sense, I said, shaking my head. That's not how it works. But the machine didn't deal in sense. It dealt in outcomes. And somewhere. Somehow. Both of those outcomes existed. I need to know what happened, I said, more to myself than anything else. The screen flickered. Then changed. Not an answer. A suggestion. Ask the right question. My heart pounded. The right question. Not what happened. Not something open. Something precise. Something that wouldn't break it. Or me. I swallowed hard. Behind me, I could feel it now. Not touching. Just close. Close enough that the air felt wrong. Close enough that I knew. If I turned around, I would see him. And if I saw him, I would remember everything. I squeezed my eyes shut. Okay, I whispered. Okay. Think. Simple. Yes or no. Future. That was the rule. Not the past. Never the past. Unless the future forced the past to reveal itself. My breath came out slow and shaky as I formed the question. Will I remember what happened, if I turn around? The machine buzzed softly. Almost gently. The screen flickered once. Then answered. Yes, 100%. Behind me. Something shifted closer. Right at my back now. Waiting. I opened my eyes. Stared at the screen. And realized something worse. Much worse. I didn't need to turn around. Because the memory was already starting to come back. It didn't hit all at once. That would have been easier. Cleaner. Instead, it crept in slowly, like something leaking through cracks in a wall I didn't know I had built. A sound first. A sharp one. Glass. Breaking. I staggered slightly, my grip tightening on the machine as the hallway around me blurred for a second. No, I whispered. Not yet. But it didn't stop. Another fragment forced its way through. My brother's voice. Loud. Angry. You don't understand what this thing does. The words echoed in my head, overlapping with the present, with the silence behind me. I squeezed my eyes shut, but it didn't help. Now I could see it. The apartment. Not empty this time. Alive. We were standing in the living room. Him. And me. The machine between us. You've been using it, I heard myself say. My voice, but younger somehow. Tighter. You've been asking it things you shouldn't. He laughed. Not amused. Frustrated. You think I'm the problem, he snapped. You don't even know what it is. The memory sharpened. Painfully clear now. The smell, that same burnt, electric scent filling the air. It had already started back then. I know enough, I said. This thing messes with things. Power, systems. Not just systems, he cut in, stepping closer. People. That word hung there. Heavy. Wrong. In the present, my heart skipped. Behind me. I could feel him listening. Waiting for me to catch up. What does that mean? I had asked. My brother hesitated. And for a moment. He looked scared. I asked it something, he said quietly. Something I shouldn't have. The machine in my hands buzzed softly. Like it remembered. Like it was there. What did you ask? I pressed. He shook his head. It doesn't matter. It does if it's doing this. I snapped, gesturing around. The outages, the interference, this isn't normal. It's not supposed to be normal, he shot back. That's the point. The tension in the room snapped tighter. I could feel it again. That moment. The edge we were both standing on. You need to get rid of it, I said. No. The answer came instantly. Final. We don't even understand it, I argued. You said it yourself. I understand enough, he said, quieter now. Too quiet. It works. That's not a good thing. It is if you ask the right questions. Something about the way he said that made my stomach twist, even now. In the present, I took a shaky breath. Stop, I whispered. Just stop. But the memory kept going. Because now I remembered the worst part. The shift. The moment everything went wrong. I asked it about you, my brother said. That made me pause. Even back then. What? I said. He looked at me, really looked at me. Like he was seeing something I wasn't. Yeah, he said slowly. I asked what you were going to do. A cold weight settled in my chest. What did it say? He didn't answer right away. Didn't move. Just stood there, watching me. Then. It said yes. My breath caught. That's not even a question, I said. I know. The silence stretched. Thick. Suffocating. Then I saw it. In the memory. Myself taking a step forward. Closer to him. Closer to the machine. Give it to me, I said. He shook his head. No. Give it to me, I repeated. No. My hands clenched. Even now, I could feel it. That pressure. That heat building under my skin. I'm not asking again. And I'm not giving it to you. The moment snapped. Everything after that happened too fast. A shove. A stumble. The machine falling. Hitting the floor with a sharp crack. The lights flickering violently. Both of us reaching for it at the same time. My hand hitting his. Pushing. Harder than I meant to. He lost his balance. There was something behind him. A table. A knife. And then. In the present. I gasped, my eyes flying open. No. My hands were shaking violently now. I didn't mean to. Behind me. Something moved. Closer. Closer than before. Like it had been waiting for me to say that. The machine buzzed softly. Patient. Knowing. Because now. I was finally ready to ask the last question. I didn't mean to. The words echoed in the hallway, thin and useless. Because now I remembered enough. Not everything. Not the full picture. But enough to know the truth wasn't clean. It never had been. My brother didn't attack me. I didn't walk in on a murder. There was no stranger. No hidden killer. Just two people. One machine. And a moment that went too far. Behind me, I could feel him now. Close enough that the back of my shirt felt cold. Not touching. Just there. Waiting. For me to finish. For me to understand. I swallowed hard, staring at the screen. Did I push him? The machine responded immediately. Yes, 100%. My chest tightened. Did that kill him? The hum dipped low. Heavy. Then. Yes, 52%. 52. Barely over half. The number made my stomach turn. Because it meant something worse than certainty. It meant it might not have been enough. Then what? I stopped myself. No. Ask it right. Keep it simple. Keep it controlled. Even though everything inside me was slipping. Was he already dying before I left? The screen flickered. A pause. Then. Yes, 68%. I felt my knees weaken. So I trailed off. Didn't just kill him outright. But I didn't save him either. Did I? My breathing grew uneven. Did I try to help him? The machine buzzed again. This time, longer. Like it was digging through something deeper. Then. Yes, 47%. Less than half. I shut my eyes. That's not enough. It wasn't enough. Behind me. A faint sound. Like fabric shifting. Like someone adjusting their stance. Still waiting. Always waiting. I opened my eyes again, staring at the screen through a blur. There's more, I whispered. There has to be more. The machine didn't respond. Because I hadn't asked. Because it never gave more than you demanded. And suddenly. I understood something. This thing didn't just answer questions. It forced you to take responsibility for them. Every word mattered. Every angle. Every consequence. I took a shaky breath. There was one thing left. One question that mattered more than anything else. Not about the past. Not about what happened. But what I had done after. My voice felt distant as I spoke. Did I know he was going to die when I left? The machine reacted instantly. Violently. The hum spiked, sharp and loud. The hallway lights flickered wildly, shadows stretching and collapsing around me like something alive. For a moment, I thought. This was it. Another break. Another loop. But then. The screen stabilized. And the answer appeared. Yes, 94%. Something inside me broke. Not cracked. Not shifted. Broke. I staggered back a step, my grip loosening on the machine. No, I whispered. No, that's not true. But it was. I could feel it now. The missing piece. The part one didn't want to see. Didn't want to remember. I hadn't just pushed him. I hadn't just panicked. I had known. Known he wasn't getting up. Known he needed help. And I left anyway. Behind me. A hand touched my shoulder. Cold. Heavy. Real. I froze. Didn't scream. Didn't move. Because now I understood what the machine had warned me about. You won't forget again, 100%. Slowly. I turned. And for the first time. I saw him. My brother stood there. Not like before. Not alive. Not right. His head tilted slightly, eyes fixed on mine. There was no anger in his face. No rage. Just something worse. Recognition. Like he knew I finally understood. A dark stain spread across his chest. Blood. Old. Dried. But still there. Still happening. His mouth moved. Slowly. Struggling. And I heard the words I had buried. The ones I refused to remember. Call the police. My breath hitched. Because now I knew. Those weren't his last words. They were instructions. Instructions I ignored. The machine slipped slightly in my hands. The screen flickered. One last line appearing. Not an answer. Not a command. A statement. Final query available. I stared at it. One question left. Only one. Behind me. Or in front of me now. He waited. Not moving. Not leaving. Because whatever I asked next would decide what came after. For him. For me. For everything. My brother stood in front of me. Silent. Waiting. Not attacking. Not moving. Just, existing in that impossible way, like he had been paused mid-moment and forgotten by time. The blood on his shirt didn't drip. Didn't dry. It just was. Like the moment never ended. Like it was still happening somewhere. I could barely breathe. The machine trembled in my hands, its soft hum now the only thing keeping me grounded. Final query available. One question. That was all I had left. One chance to decide what I lived with. Or what I didn't. I swallowed hard, my mind racing. I could ask anything. Something to clear my guilt. Something to prove I wasn't responsible. Something to make this easier. But deep down, I already knew the truth. That wasn't why I was hesitating. I wasn't afraid of the answer. I was afraid of what came after. Because every answer this thing gave changed something. Not just what I knew, but what was. My brother's eyes didn't leave mine. And for a moment. Just a moment. I thought I saw something shift in them. Not anger. Not pain. Something quieter. Expectation. Like he was waiting for me to finally do the one thing I didn't do that night. My throat tightened. I should have called, I whispered. No response. Just silence. And that machine, still waiting. I took a slow, shaking breath, and asked the only question that mattered. Will calling the police now change anything? The moment the words left my mouth, everything reacted. The machine screamed. Not hummed, screamed. A sharp, piercing sound that tore through the hallway as the lights exploded into violent flickers. The walls seemed to pulse, shadows stretching and twisting into shapes that didn't belong. The screen glitched wildly, symbols overlapping, collapsing. Struggling. Breaking. This wasn't a simple question. This wasn't safe. But it wasn't a paradox either. It could answer. And that made it worse. I clenched my teeth, forcing myself to look. Answer it, I whispered. The machine fought itself. The display fractured into lines of text that rewrote themselves faster than I could read. Numbers appeared. Changed. Collapsed. Rose again. 90%. 72%. 15%. 100%. 0%. Again. 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 Like it was calculating something that wouldn't settle. Like the future itself didn't agree. And then. Everything stopped. The lights went out completely. Total darkness. No hum. No sound. Nothing. For one long second. I thought it had failed. That it finally broke. That I wouldn't get an answer. Then. The screen lit up. Clear. Stable. Final. Yes, 1%. I stared at it. My brain struggling to process what that meant. 1%. Almost nothing. Almost meaningless. But not zero. Never zero. Behind me. Or maybe beside me now. My brother moved. I turned instinctively. He was closer. Standing right in front of me now. Closer than before. His face clearer. His eyes locked onto mine. And for the first time. He didn't look like a question. He looked like an answer. Please, he said, his voice barely there. Just, call. I didn't hesitate this time. My hand fumbled for my phone, nearly dropping it as I pulled it out. My fingers shook as I dialed. Each number felt heavier than it should. Like it mattered more than anything I had ever done. The line rang. Once. Twice. Then. 911, what's your emergency? My voice cracked. I swallowed hard. I think I need to report something. Behind me. The air shifted. The weight in the room changed. I turned slowly. My brother was gone. Not fading. Not disappearing. Just, not there. Like he had never been. The hallway lights flickered back on. Normal. Quiet. Empty. I looked down at the machine. The screen was dark. Dead. No hum. No glow. No sign it had ever been anything more than a broken piece of junk. But I knew better. Because as I stood there, listening to the operator's voice, trying to explain something that didn't make sense even to me, I realized something. The machine didn't give me certainty. It never did. Not really. It gave me choice. Even when it didn't feel like it. Even when the numbers said otherwise. And maybe that's what the percentages really meant. Not fate. Not destiny. Just, how likely you were to become the kind of person who made a certain decision. I closed my eyes, gripping the phone tighter. 1%. That's all it took. Just enough. To choose differently.